Sleep problems after the age of 50 are often dismissed as just part of aging, but what many people don't realize is that poor sleep is not only exhausting, it is quietly accelerating physical decline in ways that can affect your heart, memory, balance, and even your independence. In today's video, we are focusing on a surprisingly simple approach that may support deeper, more restorative sleep in older adults. 3 gentle bedtime stretches that help calm the nervous system, improve circulation, and prepare the body for rest. This matters more than most people think, because after 50, the body's natural ability to relax and recover at night begins to weaken, and even small sleep disruptions can build into long-term health risks. I am Dr. Walker Official, and for over 25 years, I've focused on helping adults over 60 manage common aging-related health challenges, from circulation and joint issues to muscle loss and memory concerns. In this video, I'll show you what's really happening with sleep decline after 50 and the simple, practical steps that can truly make a difference. Here's what makes this urgent. According to sleep research published in geriatric medicine journals, nearly 50–70% of adults over 60 report frequent sleep disturbances, and even more concerning, chronic poor sleep has been linked to a significantly higher risk of falls, reduced immune strength, and faster cognitive decline. In simple terms, when sleep breaks down, everything else in the body begins to follow. The real danger is not just feeling tired. It is losing stability, confidence, and independence over time. Many seniors slowly stop moving as freely, become more dependent on others, and experience a gradual decline in mental sharpness without realizing sleep is a major contributing factor. Before we dive deeper, there is something important you need to understand. Most people focus only on sleep medications or general advice like avoid caffeine, but they miss the deeper physical tension and circulation issues that silently disrupt sleep every single night. That is exactly why tonight's approach is different, and as we go further, I will also reveal a ranked list of common bedtime habits, from least effective to most powerful, and highlight one mistake that almost every senior unknowingly makes that keeps sleep quality low. As we move deeper into what is actually happening inside the body after 50, it becomes clear that sleep decline is not random. It is biological, progressive, and strongly connected to changes in the brain, hormones, and nervous system. One of the key mechanisms is the gradual reduction of melatonin production. Melatonin is the hormone responsible for signaling to your body that it is time to sleep. Research in sleep medicine shows that melatonin levels can drop significantly with age, especially after 60, making it harder to fall asleep and stay asleep through the night. At the same time, the body's circadian rhythm, the internal clock that regulates sleep and wake cycles, becomes less stable, often shifting earlier or becoming fragmented. Another major factor is the increased activation of the stress response system. Clinical studies show that older adults often have higher nighttime cortisol levels compared to younger adults. Cortisol is the alert hormone. When it remains elevated at night, even slightly, it interferes with deep sleep stages, especially slow-wave sleep, which is the most restorative phase for brain and body recovery. Researchers in geriatric sleep studies also report that deep sleep, stage 3 sleep, can decline by up to 50% or more after the age of 60. This is critical because deep sleep is where tissue repair, immune strengthening, and memory consolidation primarily occur. Without it, the body may technically be sleeping, but it is not truly recovering. Another overlooked issue is reduced blood circulation during rest. As we age, blood vessels can become less flexible, and muscle inactivity during sleep can lead to stiffness and discomfort. This often causes micro-awakenings throughout the night, even if the person does not fully remember them. What makes this even more complex is that standard advice, like avoiding screens or reducing caffeine, only addresses surface-level triggers. They do not correct the internal biological shifts happening in hormones, nervous system balance, and circulation efficiency. This is why sleep problems often persist even when seniors follow good sleep hygiene. The root issue is not just behavior, it is physiology. And this is exactly where simple physical interventions, like targeted bedtime stretches, begin to play a meaningful role in calming the nervous system and restoring natural sleep signaling. Now that we understand what is happening inside the body, it becomes much easier to see why so many common sleep solutions fail for people over 50. The problem is not effort, it is misunderstanding the real cause. One of the biggest mistakes is relying on sleep medications as a long-term solution. While they may help you fall asleep faster, many of them do not restore natural sleep cycles. In fact, clinical observations show that some sedative sleep aids can reduce deep sleep quality, leaving people feeling groggy, mentally foggy, and less refreshed in the morning. Over time, the body can also become dependent on them, making natural sleep even harder to regain. Another common mistake is ignoring physical tension in the body before bed. Many seniors go to sleep with tight hips, stiff lower backs, or shoulder tension from the day. This physical stiffness keeps the nervous system slightly activated. When the body is tense, the brain receives signals that it is not fully safe to enter deep rest, which leads to lighter, more fragmented sleep cycles. A third misconception is focusing only on mental relaxation techniques, like watching calm videos or listening to music, without addressing circulation and muscle tightness. While these can help reduce stress, they do not fully resolve the physical discomfort that wakes people up repeatedly during the night. What all these mistakes have in common is that they treat sleep as a mind problem, when in reality it is deeply connected to the body's physical state, especially circulation, muscle flexibility, and nervous system balance. Standard advice often reduces sleep issues to lifestyle habits alone, but this ignores the deeper biological reality we discussed earlier. That is why so many people feel like they are doing everything right, yet still wake up tired. The encouraging part is this: sleep decline after 50 is not a fixed condition. It is strongly influenced by reversible factors like muscle tension, blood flow restriction, and nervous system overstimulation. When these are addressed properly, sleep quality can improve naturally without relying solely on medication. This is exactly where simple, targeted bedtime movements become powerful, not as exercise, but as a biological reset signal for the body. Now we come to the most practical part of understanding sleep improvement after 50, what actually works in the real world. Not theories, not trends, but habits that have measurable effects on relaxation, circulation, and sleep depth. Starting from the lower end of effectiveness and moving toward the most impactful. At number 10, we have drinking warm milk before bed. Milk contains tryptophan, a compound linked to sleep hormones, but the actual effect is mild. Studies suggest only a small improvement in sleep onset time, often less than 5–10 minutes in some individuals. The limitation is clear: it helps the mind feel calm, but does very little for muscle tension or circulation. Verdict: comforting, but not powerful. At number 9, herbal teas like chamomile or valerian root. These can activate mild calming pathways in the brain and may slightly reduce sleep latency by around 10–15%. However, their effect varies widely between individuals and is not strong enough to overcome physical stiffness or age-related sleep disruption alone. Verdict: supportive, but inconsistent. At number 8, reducing screen exposure 1 hour before bed. This helps protect melatonin production by limiting blue light interference. Research shows melatonin levels can improve by up to 20% with consistent screen reduction. The downside is that it does not directly relax the body's muscles or circulation. Verdict: important foundation, but incomplete. At number 7, deep breathing exercises. Slow breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which lowers heart rate and reduces stress hormones. Clinical data suggests it can reduce sleep onset time by around 15–25% in mild insomnia cases. However, it still does not address physical tightness in joints and muscles. Verdict: effective for stress, limited for physical tension. At number 6, light evening walking. A 10–15 minute walk after dinner improves circulation and helps regulate body temperature, both of which support sleep readiness. Studies show modest improvement in sleep quality, especially in older adults with sedentary lifestyles. Limitation: timing matters. Too late or too intense can backfire. Verdict: helpful daily habit. At number 5, magnesium-rich foods or supplements. Magnesium supports muscle relaxation and nervous system stability. Some clinical findings suggest improvements in sleep efficiency by up to 20–30% in people with low magnesium levels. However, it is not effective if physical stiffness and poor mobility are not also addressed. Verdict: useful biochemical support. At number 4, reducing late-night heavy meals. Digestion requires energy and keeps the body partially active during rest. Studies show late eating can reduce deep sleep duration by disrupting metabolic cycles. Improvement can be significant, up to 30% better sleep continuity in some cases. Limitation: only works if combined with relaxation habits. Verdict: strong lifestyle correction. At number 3, gentle stretching routines before bed. This begins to directly target the real problem: muscle tightness and reduced circulation. Clinical observations in older adults show improved sleep onset and fewer nighttime awakenings when stretching is done consistently. Verdict: highly effective physical reset. At number 2, progressive relaxation combined with slow stretching. This combines nervous system calming with muscle release, creating a stronger effect than either alone. Many sleep specialists report noticeable improvements in deep sleep quality within 1 to 2 weeks of consistent practice. Verdict: very powerful. And at number 1, the most effective approach is targeted bedtime mobility stretching that focuses on the spine, hips, and lower back. These areas hold the most tension in older adults and directly influence sleep comfort. When these muscles are gently released, blood flow improves, nerve pressure reduces, and the body naturally shifts into deeper sleep stages. Some sleep studies on older adults show improvements in sleep efficiency of up to 35–40% when consistent stretching routines are used before bed. The limitation is that it requires consistency, not intensity. Verdict: the most reliable natural method for restoring sleep quality. Now that we understand what works and why, the next step is to focus on the top 3 solutions in detail and exactly how to apply them safely and effectively at home. Now let's focus on the most important part: what actually produces the strongest improvement in sleep quality when done consistently. At this stage, we are narrowing everything down to the top 3 solutions that directly influence the body's sleep systems: circulation, nervous system, calm, and muscle release. The third most effective solution is magnesium support through diet or gentle supplementation. Magnesium plays a key role in regulating muscle relaxation and calming nerve activity. When levels are low, which is common in older adults, sleep becomes lighter and more fragmented. Clinical nutrition research suggests that restoring adequate magnesium intake can improve sleep quality and efficiency by around 20–30% in people who are mildly deficient. The best timing is in the evening, about 1 to 2 hours before bed, either through magnesium-rich foods like leafy greens, nuts, and seeds, or a low-dose supplement if approved by a healthcare provider. One mild side effect in some people is digestive looseness if the dose is too high, so moderation is important. It should not be combined blindly with other medications without checking with a physician, especially for those with kidney conditions. The second most effective solution is controlled breathing combined with gentle pre-sleep relaxation. Slow, intentional breathing helps shift the nervous system from a fight or flight state into a rest and repair mode. This reduces nighttime cortisol activity, which is often elevated in older adults. Studies in sleep medicine show that structured breathing techniques can reduce sleep onset time by up to 25% and improve sleep continuity when practiced regularly. The best approach is simple: slow inhalation through the nose, longer exhalation through the mouth, repeated for several minutes while lying in bed. This alone does not fix physical stiffness, but it prepares the brain and nervous system for deeper relaxation. Now we reach the most powerful solution, the number one method, targeted bedtime stretching focused on the spine, hips, and lower back. This works because it directly addresses the most overlooked cause of poor sleep after 50, physical tension stored in deep muscle groups. As we age, the hips become tighter, the lower back loses flexibility, and the spine experiences compression from daily movement patterns. This creates subtle discomfort signals throughout the night, even if the person does not fully wake up. Targeted stretching helps release this stored tension, improves blood flow, and reduces pressure on sensitive nerves that can interrupt sleep cycles. The most effective routine is simple and should be done slowly, about 5 to 10 minutes before bed. It does not require force or intensity, only gentle movement and controlled breathing. The goal is to signal safety and relaxation to the nervous system, not to exercise the body. When done consistently, many older adults report fewer night awakenings, reduced stiffness in the morning, and a smoother transition into deep sleep phases. However, it is important to remain gentle. Overstretching or fast movements can have the opposite effect and increase alertness instead of relaxation. Together, these three solutions work in a layered way. Magnesium supports internal chemistry, breathing calms the nervous system, and stretching releases physical tension. When combined properly, they create a full-body sleep preparation system rather than a single quick fix. Finally, before you begin applying these changes, it is important to understand what can silently undo your progress and how to reframe sleep decline in a way that gives you control again. The first critical mistake is inconsistency. Many people try stretching or relaxation for 1 or 2 nights, then stop when results are not immediate. But the nervous system and muscles in older adults need repeated signals of safety before sleep patterns begin to shift. The second mistake is overstimulation right before bed, late scrolling, emotional conversations, or stressful news. These keep the brain in an alert state and directly block the natural drop in cortisol that is required for deep sleep. The third mistake is ignoring physical stiffness during the day. If the body stays inactive or seated for long hours, tension accumulates in the hips and spine, and that tension carries into the night. The most important reframe is this: poor sleep after 50 is not simply aging, it is often a combination of reduced circulation, muscle tightness, and nervous system imbalance. These are biological states, not permanent damage, and biological states can be improved. This means your sleep quality is not fixed, it is adjustable. For the next 30 days, the goal is simple. Commit to a short nightly routine that includes gentle stretching, slow breathing, and consistent sleep timing. No extreme changes, no complicated systems, just repetition and stability. If you stay consistent for 30 days, the body begins to recognize a pattern again. Relaxation becomes easier, sleep onset becomes smoother, and nighttime awakenings gradually reduce. This is not about forcing sleep. It is about teaching the body how to return to it naturally.